Next Generation Weather Forecaster Joe Shaka here. Today's video will be up on YouTube. I don't have any specific tracks, so that is where today's video will be going. But I think over the next several days, we're going to start tracking some more tropical weather, and that's what we're going to be talking about in today's public video, if you were to say, again, not going on Patreon, but on YouTube. So let's take a look here at the MJO, the Madden-Julian Oscillation from the European model. We're in phase 5, pretty much in the border of phase 4 and 5 now. Over the next few days, we're going to be coming around through phase 5, possibly into an O phase, but more likely into phases 6 and 7. This is going to be a little bit iffy to watch go on down the road, and you'll see why in just a second. So there's some contradiction here of what exactly is going to be going on with a couple of areas of interest that I have in the tropical Atlantic. So you can see what it looks like there. Now, phase 4 and 5, pretty much, there's some enhancement. We have a wave that's probably going to develop out by Bermuda over the next few days, early next week, which is a favorite spot, for phase 4 and 5. Then we move into phases 6 and 7, and we've seen this before, too, in this hurricane season. I don't know about other hurricane seasons. I'm sure we have. I haven't gone back and looked. But phase 6 and 7, if we are into those phases, it doesn't really favor development in the Caribbean. However, we saw a typhoon develop in the Western Pacific. I believe it was phase 2 and 3 or 8 and 1, where we had a strong negative for tropical development. But however, we were able to pull tropical development there in an unfavorable phase. So even though we're in phase 6 and 7, it does not completely mean there will not be any development. Just again, it's a negative, but does not mean it cannot happen. But you can see what that phase 6 and 7 looks like in the Caribbean, though. However, it does favor something, near the northeast coast. Doesn't mean it's going to be there. So we'll see what that looks like down the road. But if we are in an O phase, when there's no MJO forcing present, then things can get possibly pretty wild depending on other factors. But that's what the MJO looks like in regards to tropical development. Water is quite warm, so that will certainly not be an issue for the genesis of these systems. So you can see what it looks like there. Now the Japanese week 1 that came out today, JMA Thursday. I love the Japanese. I think the Japanese is a very good model. They've done some really good things with this model over the last few years that really make this good in the weekly forecast. But you can see upward motion here along the East Coast and the Caribbean. You can see some enhanced rainfall. There's the ridge over troubled water, so you can see week 1. Week 2 looks like this. Upward motion over the western part of the Atlantic Basin into the Caribbean. Enhanced rainfall and along the East Coast, maybe some in the Caribbean. And then there's the ridge over troubled water and the lower heights starting to come over the Great Lakes. So whatever may be down here will try to come northward, and whatever's out by Bermuda might try to come westward. So that may be an interesting situation as we get close to about Halloween or so, in my opinion. The system around Bermuda possibly get interesting around the 23rd, and then the system in the Caribbean for U.S. impacts, again, closer to Halloween, probably the 27th to the 31st, but you can see what the Japanese looks like there, week 2. This is New European now, has open data, so you can see here, this is the ACE, accumulated cyclone energy, and you can see days 12 to 18, going right through the 1st of November here. You can see above average, where the average is about 1, average is 2.4, so it's above average in this part of the basin. So that's going to be interesting to see as well. So that's a favor for tropical development. The precipitation anomaly, this is days 12 to 18. You can see the enhancement going on here in the Caribbean and off the East Coast. So that looks pretty good. And here is the tropical cyclone genesis probability. You can see the enhancement here. Already 20-30% showing up here, so that looks pretty good. And the ensembles through day 10. Here's the situation by Bermuda, which will likely stay out to sea. And then here's the situation developing in the Caribbean by day 8 through 10, which again will have to be watched depending on how this upper level pattern evolves here over North America. But this will likely need to be watched as we get closer in to early next week. And with all that said, here's my tropical outlook over the next 2 weeks. Favorable conditions in the western part of the Atlantic. And pretty much the MDR, the African wave train, is shut down for the remainder of the season and won't pick up again until probably August of next year. So this yellow area will remain and expand westward as the weeks go on. That's it for now, and thank you for watching.